early 2000, the continuum was very small. And so it's great to see this much activity and this many members and being able to get so much more done. So I applaud you and thank you for being a part of this organization. I've got a short PowerPoint. Let me get it shared here. This just makes it easier to go through and to give you a little background. A lot of this, I started out with the history. We're a part of community action agencies in the country, and those agencies are over 50 years old. So here's a brief background, just so you have an idea where we started and where we're coming from. Our main purpose is to work and assist those who are going through poverty. As you are well aware, we have a high, I consider it a high amount. It flows, but there is at least 1 in every 12 individuals that are suffering through poverty. I think of that when I'm out getting something to eat or going to the store, and it just hits you that, wow, I'm within the grocery store line. There's probably somebody in this line that is suffering through poverty. We all have a need. We all have a right for food security and for love from each other. Poverty may be situational. Many times it is generational, and breaking that cycle can be very, very difficult. The community action agencies are organized to respond locally to the conditions of poverty and those individuals and families that are experiencing poverty. We all rely on the labor market so we can earn money to meet our needs, our family and our community support, which includes all of you, for those who cannot care for themselves, and the state. I was going to start out by saying, hi, I'm Dave, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. And that's always a scary item. And if we see all 3 of these items fail, then we are definitely in a real crisis. All right, going back to in history, probably many of you weren't even born when all this started, but this is just sort of a timeline to give you an idea of how the CAAs came about. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous I Have a Dream speech in front of the Lincoln Memorial. September of that same year, 20 African-American students entered public schools in Alabama. In October, the next month, the term Beatlemania was coined by much of the music press, especially the British. And in November 6, 1963, the Vietnam War had started. If you go to Vietnam, they have a huge museum there. They don't call it the Vietnam War, they call it the American War. November 22nd, President Kennedy was assassinated, and the governor of Texas at that time was wounded as well. And then Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in as the 36th president of the United States on the airplane heading back to Washington, D.C. that same day. In May of '64, President Johnson announced the goals of his Great Society social reforms to bring an end to poverty and racial injustice in America. June 12th of '64, South Africa sentences Nelson Mandela to life in prison. And in July of '64, US President Lyndon B. Johnson signs the Civil Rights Act into law. I thought this was quite a quote that President Johnson had given. This is from the floor, and that's a photograph when he gave it, and saying, poverty is a national problem requiring improved national organization and support. But this attack, to be effective, must also be organized at the state and the local level, and must be supported and directed by the state and local efforts. For the war against poverty will not be won here in Washington. It must be won in the field, in every private home, in every public office, and from the courthouse to the White House. In 1964, the Economic Opportunity Act was started. A cabinet level office was established under that name. This office was to coordinate all the federal government's anti-poverty efforts and programs And it was also to be a laboratory for program development. Head Start started as a pilot from this program in 1965. Sergeant Shriver was a main component in getting us to where we are today. And his quote is listed here: "This country, with its enormous productivity, its advanced technology, the mobility of its people, and the speed of its communications, has both the resources and the know-how to eliminate poverty." And that quote was from the 60s. The elimination of poverty, and we've seen this grow for the last 50 years. It was to expand educational opportunities, increase the safety net for the poor and the unemployed, tend to the health and financial needs of the elderly, programs to promote health, education, and general well-being of the poor, and focus the attention of the nation and the federal agencies on poverty and the need for a coordinated, multidimensional approach to reduce poverty, if not completely eliminate it. In 1968, President Nixon had asked Donald Rumsfeld to run the, hang on a second, I gotta change my screen, there we go, run the OEO, and Rumsfeld to run it, and then requested that it be dismantled. Now, Rumsfeld revisioned the mission and breathed new life into community action. There are over 1,000 community action agencies like ours here in Sangamon County throughout the country. We're all identified as community action agencies because we receive the CSBG funding. And most of us have the Low Income Energy Assistance Program called LIHEAP, and the Weatherization Program. And Illinois also has the Percentage of Income Payment Plan, the PIP. And we have all those programs here in Sangamon County. And many of these also have a Head Start program. Our office does not manage that here in Sangamon County. Poverty is measured by comparing a person's family income to a set poverty threshold, minimum amount of income needed to provide basic needs. And those falling under the income minimum are considered the poor. And that's how this chart is created, which is determined each year by HHS. So you can see for family size in the first column, what that level of poverty would be. And then we have showing a 30-day, what a 30-day income could be. And recently with COVID, we've been able to increase that to accept people at the 200% of poverty. So you can see that they raised the amount of money so that it was at the beginning of COVID, it was 125%, then it went to 150, and in the last several months it's been to 200, which gives us the opportunity to help those people who might have just missed it by 50, 60 bucks a month. Here in Sangamon County, I'm going to go through the various sources that we offer. One of our big programs, and we have probably close to a year waiting list as well, is weatherization. And that's where we send our weatherization assessor into a home after they've been qualified by income. Then our assessor goes in, determines what the house needs to help lower their costs and improve the home. And this could include insulation, windows, furnaces, possibly a hot water tank, construction where we've been in the homes where there's a hole in the roof and the ceiling, so that when it rains, it's raining in the house, and we're helping repair that as well. Plus, go through and just show how we can improve the house and lower their costs as well. Probably one of our biggest and toughest problems for our assessor and for the contractors that we hire to make the repairs is hoarding. So many of these homes, so many people have items just lying throughout the house. There's just a path to walk through. Or we've even had a house, the assessor visited yesterday, they had stuff sitting out in the front yard as well, outside the house, and the house was packed. So it's So we're going in and we're trying to educate them and inform them, hey, we're going to need all this material moved so that the contractors can even get in and work. And that becomes quite a process as well. But this has been a wonderful program, and it has improved a lot of our homes here in Sangamon County. LIHEAP is our utility assistance, and so we are offering assistance for, majority of our residents here in Sangamon County are either Ameren or CWLP or both customers of those two companies. And when they get behind on there, then we're using funds to get them caught back up. They're filling out applications with us and determining, why they were behind, so that it wasn't just, hey, somebody said, I don't want to pay anymore and I'm going to have you pay it. They've had to go through some type of event or problem that didn't allow them to keep up on their bills. It could be loss of work. It could be because of COVID and they had loss of work or illness, or it could be several different things. But we're looking at that so that we're giving the assistance we need to those who truly need it. Since July 27th of 2020 to last week, we have given out over $3 million to residents of Sangamon County for the LIHEAP program. Rental and or mortgage assistance, where we are paying the 1 month rent to help them through, help them get back on their feet. With COVID, this was a huge event as well. I think in 2019, we assisted by offering like $38,000, and in 2020, it was $455,000 that we've paid. And again, this is all within the borders of Sangamon County. And so again, they're filing paperwork with us, and we're going to finding out why they fell behind on their rent. And we've met with the Springfield Area Landlord Association as well, educating them on how their tenants can get help from us, what the paperwork is like, so they understand it, because we're concerned about them as well. They're still having to pay the mortgages on their buildings, et cetera. And so it's they've really had a very difficult time because so many people are so far behind in their rent and or mortgage. We have a sewer rebate program. It's a one-time payment of $90 that we will help as well, and that's usually, we're seeing that helping reduce that cost as well when we're seeing the utility bills as well. Oh, I've been sitting here too long. Hang on. There we go. And so we have that program as well for the clients that are coming in to meet with us. We also offer a GED test assistance. The GED program is at no cost, but there's a charge for the test, and we'll help pay. We'll pay for that test. We have a CNA scholarship assistance through Fishes and Loaves, where we pay for the entire program for them. We couldn't do this last summer because of COVID, and I don't know if we'll be able to this year yet or not, but we've had in the past summer recreational and after school events for the youth here in Sangamon County, including the Max Out Summer Basketball Camp. We, and again, before COVID hit, we were doing a lot of family functioning, goal setting, financial literacy workshops, where if the clients came in wanting this assistance, they had to go through those programs so that they would be able to learn a little bit about how to budget, how to, the importance of paying bills on time, et cetera, as well. That is the entire program in a very quick period, but and I didn't go into a lot of the extra details because I didn't want to take up a lot of your time, but if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take those. If you know of a client who falls in needing help in one of those areas, please have them call our office, and they will be directed to one of our case specialists, getting the paperwork started and finished and going through as well. The county does its best to make website addresses the longest, most difficult in the world. So that last line is our website address. And it was even longer before I started, and I got it reduced. I got 26 letters taken out to reduce down to this. So you can feel my pain anyway. So that's our website, and my email above that as well. And I appreciate the time this morning, and I thank all of you for what you're doing, because without what you do here in Sangamon County, we'd be really, really, really in bad shape. But from knowing many of you and what you do, I think it's amazing, and I'm thrilled to be able to partner with all of you.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you for sharing, and thank you for your partnership as well. I think as we continue to network across agencies, we help to strengthen the safety net for people. So hopefully we can prevent homelessness in the first place. And we know that the work that you're doing with community resources is helping to do that. So thank you to your team. We appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
And if we'll send out an email follow-up to this too, and so we'll include some of the really long links that Dave had there in his email address too. So if you have any further questions, you can connect with community resources. All right. Well, Shannon, we'd love to hear about Abundant Faith and the work that you're doing. So thank you for being willing to share today as well.
Yeah, no problem. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Shannon Allen. I'm the director of Abundant Faith Supportive Services. I've worked here 6 years in different positions. We have Haven Apartments. It's an 8-plex. We house women and children with disabilities. We currently have 1 vacancy. I reached out to Tracy about that, so we're working on that. Getting to get that filled. We have Haven House, which is now Haven Apartments is permanent housing. They can stay there as long as they want. Haven House is a 12-month transitional program where it houses 4 women, 6 children, so the capacity is 10. We have 1 room for a single individual, and the other 3 rooms are for women and children. Then we have our Kings Court low income apartments on Cook Street that houses men and women and children, and it's for low income families. Now and that's permanent. They can stay there as long as they like. I'll back up. The Haven House is 12-month program. However, if anyone is in need of, a longer stay, we are able to approve that depending on the circumstances. Within all 3 of these projects, we offer case management, advocacy, counseling, life skill classes, transportation, employment needs, childcare needs. What we don't offer, we refer them out somewhere else, get them in contact with other agencies to make sure we can meet their needs through them. Then we also have a Manna Storehouse Food Pantry, which we've had. That was one of our first ministries after when the church opened. I think the church has been open 27 years. 27 years, so the pantry's been open 27 years. It's normally on our Reynolds location. However, we were having some things going on over there, so it's been at our 2525 Taylor location, and we did get that changed within the Central Food Bank, so they have that on their website, and it's Wednesdays from 4 to 6 now. It was on Tuesdays, but now it's on Wednesdays from 4 to 6 weekly. And I think in a nutshell, that is it. Unless anyone has any questions. Oh, We also have an opening in our transitional housing for an adult and 2 children for this room. So, and this is a 12-month transitional program. So if you know of any, one who has a need, feel free to contact us.